Okay, today I want to talk a little bit about matrix multiplication. And first thing over here, if you'll notice, is with matrix operations like addition and subtraction, the matrix had to be the exact same size. And we'd add or subtract or whatever the operation was, elements that were in the same position. In the case of matrix multiplication, it's a little bit different. The technique's a little bit different. So the first rule we have to have whenever we multiply matrices is the number of columns in the first matrix, example here of 3, has to be the same as the number of rows in the second matrix. So I can multiply a 2 by 3 and a 3 by 1 and end up with a 2 by 1 matrix. So whatever's left on the ends is going to be how big your product matrix is. Not all multiplication of matrix will exist. If this was changed to a 2 by 2 and a 3 by 1, this middle number here is not the same, so that matrix would not exist. Okay, so that's the first thing we have to know is it possible to multiply the two matrices together? And we tell that by the number of rows, or excuse me, number of columns in the first matrix times the number of rows in the second matrix has to be the same, or else you can't multiply them. And if you can multiply them, the rows and columns of each matrix is the product of your existing matrix. Okay, so over here I have an example, and my example is going to be I have a 2 by 3 matrix A and a 3 by 1 matrix B. So the first thing I have to do is determine, does the product exist? And the products will exist because the columns here match up with the rows here. So the product exists and it'll end up producing a 2 by 1 matrix. Okay, now, when I have the 2 by 1 matrix, I always like to start off by just writing down what's going to be there. So a 2 by 1 matrix means I'm going to need 2 rows and 1 column. And that's going to be the product of AB. So here's the math behind it. And let me go through it step by step. To figure out what goes in the first row, first column, I'm going to multiply the first row of matrix A times the first column of matrix B. And then I'm going to add those products together. So I got 4 times 8 plus 6 times negative 2 plus 1 times 7. So 4 times 8 is 32 plus negative 12 is 20 plus 7 is 27. So in the first row, first column of matrix AB is going to be 27. In the second row, first column, I'm going to multiply the second row of matrix A times the first row of matrix B. So it's going to be 2 times 8 plus 3 times negative 2 plus negative 5 times 7. So 2 times 8 is 16. 3 times negative 2. Oh, I made a mistake. That was good of me. I did that just to make sure you're with me there. 3 times negative 2 right here should be negative 6. And then negative 5 times 7 would be negative 35. 16 plus negative 6 is 10. 10 plus negative 35 is negative 25. So matrix AB exists and is 27, negative 25. You can do this on a calculator. I'll show that to you when you come back in. It's a lot easier with the calculator, although it's not too difficult without. You just got to make sure that you take your time and you match up the rows by the columns to figure out what goes in the existing spot. Thanks. Have a good day.